All right, guys, I just wanted to take some time to go over a few of the most commonly missed problems on the AP Classroom multiple choice progress check A for Unit 7. So let's read through this one. To study the effectiveness of a certain adult reading program, researchers will select a random sample of adults who are eligible for the program. Selected adults will be given a pretest before beginning the program and a post-test after completing the program. The difference in the number of correct answers on the pretest and the number of correct answers on the post-test will be recorded for each adult in the sample. So, first important thing, what we're collecting is a score. So a score is not a proportion, it's a raw number. So what I would expect is that they're going to average these scores, which tells me we're going to be using some sort of a t interval. For a mean. And whenever you're doing inference, the first thing you want to decide is, are we talking about inference for a mean or for a proportion? Now, it's good. Nobody's answered for a proportion, so it seems like we're doing that. All right, so a one sample t interval for a sample mean difference. Not a test. That actually is just kind of a word salad. It's not any kind of a test that we have gone over. So the answer is a matched pairs t interval for a population mean difference. And this was the second most popular answer. The problem with the most popular answer, matched pairs t interval for a sample mean difference, we never do inference for the sample. Okay? Inference is done about a population. So it's just a slight difference in wording. And then this one, the last one says a two sample t interval for a difference between means. No, that's when you want to compare two different distributions. In this case, while it does seem like we're collecting two sets of data, right? We're collecting pretest data and post-test data. We're actually making it one interval by matching the pretest with the post-test for each adult and then finding the difference for each adult. And then we're going to find the average of all of those. All right. What happens to a t distribution as the degrees of freedom increase? So thing to remember is degrees of freedom is sample size minus 1. And this was just something I stated in my explanation of t distributions. So each t distribution will have a mean of 0. So they center, let me write this out. So t distributions will center about 0. But they'll have slightly different standard deviations. They start out with heavier tails and a taller peak than a normal distribution. And as you increase the sample size, which effectively increases the degrees of freedom, what you're going to end up with is less area in the tails, a lower peak, and a more normal distribution. So as n increases, t will approach normality or a normal distribution. And that's just kind of something you have to know about the t distribution. There's no computations to make. So center remains constant, and the area and the tails decrease. All right, last one. Researchers studying the sleep habits of teens will select a random sample of n teens from the population to survey. The researcher will construct a t interval to estimate the number of hours of sleep that teens in the population get each night. Which of the following is true about the t distribution as values of n decrease from 40 to 20? So this is, this is just the opposite direction. So if we're if we're decreasing our sample size, the t distribution becomes more different than the normal distribution. So it's going to have heavier tails, meaning more area in the tails, and a skinnier, higher peak. Okay. And so the center remains constant and the area of the tails will increase. which was our most popular answer. We just had a lot of people answer that the center, or not a lot, we had 3 people answer the center decreases and the area in the tail decreases, so that's just wrong because the center doesn't change. It'll always be 0. We had a couple people say the center remains constant and the areas in the tail decreases. Nope, that's if we increase the sample size. So anyway, hope these explanations help somewhat. Talk to you soon.